My name is Eun Ah Cho. I'm originally from Korea. I was born in Seoul, Korea. When I think of my grandfather as well as my father, I think they were born in the most difficult time in Korean history because Japanese occupation lasted for a long time. And Korean War just followed literally like almost right after, back to back. Even though he was born a Korean, he could never be open and proud to be a Korean because he was forced to adapt to Japanese culture and religious system as well. Even before the Korean War broke out, there were climates of persecution. And when the Korean War actually broke out, my grandfather helped all of his congregation members to flee to the south, but he himself refused to go because I guess he wanted to make sure that everybody safely flees. He didn't want to abandon the church. And I guess he didn't want to give any implicit message to the North Korean people or the communists there living that it's easy for him to abandon Jesus. I guess that's our interpretation. But I believe that's what was going on in his mind. And communists found out that he was not gone. My father heard that the communists seized my grandfather, and they took him to the church building that he was serving at. And they put him inside the church and put the entire church on fire. And they began to shoot towards the church. My father was there. I don't know how far he was there, but he was witnessing the whole thing. And I guess what was going on in his mind was that he would stay there to be able to at least find the dead body of my grandfather and just bury it under the ground. So when the shooting stopped, my father began to approach the church building, and they began to shoot my father. So he couldn't go any further. He still has a very big scar of a gunshot on his arm. And so he actually had to take care of the rest of the family and flee to the south. And to be honest with you, I don't know, I can't imagine how actually they survived. One of my students that I taught while I was teaching in Korea was a North Korean defector. Through him, I got to know many North Korean defectors now living in South Korea. And some of them have told me that there are fervent Christians living underground. So if I can invite you and ask you to pray with me and for our whole nation to just remember in your prayers for those who are still remaining faithful to Jesus in the midst of persecution. I kind of jokingly tell my friends, you know, I am the way I am primarily because of the blood that he was able to shed for Jesus. And by the great example of faith that my grandmother showed me in my early childhood years. It's a great confession of faith that she, regardless of everything that she had gone through, she is willing to just go nearer and nearer to cross. I vividly remember just passing by her room and always being able to hear her either pray or sing hymns. 내 주를 가까이 하려 함은 십자가 짐 같은 고생이나 내 일생 소원은 늘 찬송하면서 주께 더 나아가기